Hello and welcome to a QHP episode with Ben Fowler and Antony Monks. Last time we did a video after Storm Games, our big sausage legs were underneath the table, so we're trying to make that better. But I don't know, maybe it's going to be a new fan. Maybe it's going to be a new fan. Maybe it's going to be a new fan favorite or a theme of everyone that we do. Anyway, so we've got Ben, who recently qualified for the CrossFit Games out of Africa. Congrats, Ben. And how old are you?
25.
It's going to be.
Well, after 20, I just forget. So.
It's going to be a long one if you have to think about how old you are. And obviously, if you follow QHP, hopefully you know who Antony is and who I am.
How old is it?
So Antony was born in 1989. So how old does that make him, Ben?
Almost 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're when we start, we want to do a quick little bit about Ben and Ant's journey together, talk about this season, and talk about what the future holds. So we're going to put you on a time cap because Ben likes to talk. So yeah. So my first question is, how and why did you guys first start working together, and how did that come about? Who wants to go first?
You can go first. I can't remember.
Pass the mic. Time on.
Okay, so it all started. Ant was coaching Luke, my brother, and I qualified for the comp in Dubai. And then I needed a place to stay. Luke goes, "Oh, you should just stay at my coach's place." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." I was like, "I don't know who he is. He could be weird." So anyway, I couldn't find a place, so I sorted it out. I stayed with Ant for like a week or something, leading into Dubai, and just trained at Vogue and stuff, and loved it. And I messaged him basically straight after that comp if he'd be willing to help and work with me after that, because he helped out a lot at the comp, even though he wasn't my coach. And I thought, this is pretty sick, so I wanted to work with Ant.
So what has the focus been on since you started working together? I'm going to give this one to Ant first, and then if you agree, you can.
A big focus has been on not so much physical, but more mental for Ben going into competitions. I think he definitely has like belief in himself, but I think more so when he gets closer to competitions to start thinking about himself more into the workouts rather than what other people can do. And I think that definitely showed in Africa. He was just focused on himself and no one else. So I think that one thing that we started with working on has played dividend so far. So yeah, I think if we keep doing that into the games as well, I think it'll go well. I think physically, he's very well-rounded athlete. A lot on his squatting strength has been a big focus, but physically, I think we're just trying to, because he is very well-rounded athlete, I think we're just trying to notch everything up a little bit at a time.
On that, is there anything, like you mentioned there, squat strength? Is that kind of the biggest, if you're talking about notching everything up, him being well-rounded, is that kind of like the lowest hanging fruit?
Yeah. I feel like if we increase that, I think everything else is going to start creeping up. I think technically he moves very well on his lifts, so I think just by getting that raw squat strength up, because he's still young enough to be able to put numbers on his squats and his deadlifts, and I think if we get that up, everything else, because he moves very well, I think everything else will start to creep up. One thing we actually have worked on that I'm really impressed with, because I did a session with him the other week, is his running. Like I can't. What did we start with? Because your very first block, we did a 5K test.
Yeah.
And I want to say 22 minutes.
It wasn't great. It wasn't great.
I heard it was 32.
No, it was not 32. It was not under 20.
And it's definitely closer towards 19 now. So, like squat numbers and running has definitely physically has been the biggest achievements.
Is there anything that you want to add?
No.
No? Happy with that?
Yeah, it summed it up.
That's awesome. So, you mentioned the physical and mental progression. What's your process, Ant, in terms of tracking Ben's progression? Obviously, from a physical standpoint, you see his training every week, you get the feedback, but things like mindset. What are the things that you noticed different this year compared to previous competitions that he's done? Especially, let's talk about Storm and Africa, the most two recent comps.
So I think, was Torian the last comp you did in? Oh, was it Down Under? Yeah, so Torian was before Down Under, and you could just tell in some workouts in Torian, I think there was a rope climb one, and I think he just kept his eyes elsewhere. Like, he must have looked at other people's ropes more than he looked at his own, just to see where they were. And there was just, you could just tell there wasn't the focus on him. And that was like the telltale sign of like little things that really help in a comp, whether someone will qualify, whether someone will do well for, like, from their point of view. And then I think going into Down Under, I think it was really good on the first day, and then it started creeping in a little bit more. And then Storm was just completely different, because I think because I could see him a lot more in person, we just reiterated that a lot more going into Storm. And you could just see it, because obviously in CrossFit competitions, everything's in lanes. He was just focused on his own lane. And yeah, you could just see the improvement just in that alone. Physically, yes, but more so mentally, 100%. You could just see that improvement.
And before I get your take on it, you've mentioned to me before, Ben, even a block of training that you've done with like Jamie made you focus on small things, from transition in between movements, your mindset of like wanting to compete and win in every moment of every workout, not just the overall thing. And that was one thing that I took and spoke to Ant from watching your performance in Africa this other week, was you didn't have to win every event, but you wanted to, and you weren't scared of going for it, because you backed your abilities. But like, is there anything that previously to even working with Ant, is mindset something you had identified as kind of like a weakness as such, or is it just something that naturally, as you guys have worked together, you've identified, we need to work on this to get me to that level that I want to be?
Joke,
serious now.
I'm not gonna joke. No, I think for me, like, mentally, a lot of it was, and like, I know we'll probably get into this, and like with the Torian field and stuff like that, is I've competed against these guys so many times, and like, I think mentally I could accept a loss to certain people, or accept someone's going to beat me in this workout, and I just settle for a certain place. I like, no longer am I thinking about my own performance and maximizing points and things like that. I'm just, I should probably finish here, so I'll just accept that sort of thing. Or vice versa, if someone who shouldn't be beating me starts beating me, then it gets into my head and I'm like, I've screwed it up here. And then you just kind of, I don't know, I guess settle for, like, basically throw the event away halfway through, and then like, I'll just get them on the next one, sort of thing. Whereas, yeah, since being here, a lot of it's been more about just doing the best I can in workouts. And I know it's cliche, but like in training with Jamie as well, like seeing how it's not just about doing an unbroken set, it's about how you move to get to that set and things like that, and just maximizing every single part of the workout, rather than, I'm just going to do it unbroken, nothing else matters, sort of thing. Like, just a lot more focus on my own performance, I guess.
Nice. So I think moving on from that, so we can do like a proper kind of debrief, and going on for the season. First question, I know the answer to this, but were you supposed to do Africa, and what was the initial plan for the season? And this isn't to obviously, it's more to just be like how to highlight that with this new season structure, you can, as an athlete, change your plans and you can adapt to the situation. So what was the initial plan for the season? You don't have to go into detail as why that changed if you don't want to, but then like, how did you end up doing Africa?
So the original plan was to go to French Throwdown. So I signed up for it and stuff. I assume my name was on the leaderboard and things for the qualifier. And then I just couldn't do the qualifier at the time. So basically moved down the list. What's the next one? It was Madrid. So I messaged them, couldn't get a spot on that. So moved down the list again. And then ended up doing Rebel in Africa. So Jack was doing it as well. So he was like, "Oh, just come to Africa with me," blah, blah, blah. And, it was a pretty easy sell from there, to be honest.
No,
Sorry,
it's just a little one.
I couldn't get the other mic to work.
Yeah, I think it was just when the qualifiers fell as well.
Yeah.
So it was a little niggle, and couldn't do the French qualifier, couldn't do obviously the Madrid qualifier in time, and then it just ended up being them qualifiers with one arm.
Exactly. So yeah, more qualifiers rather than the actual comps, I think.
Yeah, so essentially just when the qualifier came out, you weren't in a shape to do those qualifiers, right? Which is it's a shame, because I think it would have been great to see how you fared against, Jason Hopper, the current games champion, but at the same time, I think the point of the question is more to show that sometimes you need to roll with the punches a little bit. You need to adapt, and you need to be able to change the plan. And with this current season structure, you can. But what was good about it is you didn't do what other athletes did in regards to like, oh, I'm going to do 3 competitions and hope I qualify from one of them. Like the plan was very much, I'm going to do one, and when one wasn't available, you chose another one. That was the.
And some regions are really risky as well. Like having one spot, all it takes is like a outside the top 10 finish, and you don't qualify. So
I don't think on that. I know I'm meant to be the intermediary here, but I don't think that you can even say these days there is like a weak region in regards to the fact that like when you've got 30 athletes, 40 athletes in a field, if you've got one qualifying spot and there are 3 good athletes going for that spot, you can't have a spot outside the top 5 or 10. Like you saw what happened in Asia. There was a guy winning the whole competition. The last workout, someone else snuck in. It's like you actually have more leeway in these events with more qualifying spots. So yeah, just wanted to reiterate, it's not anything to do with like thinking that there are weak regions, because actually they bring their own challenges. So next up is basically just like a brief recap of the performance. We don't have to go like a one by one, but from my perspective, it was a very well executed professional event from start to finish. And so I'll ask Ant for your thoughts, and then you can pass to Ben, and you can tell us maybe like how you felt going into the competition. Where was your head at? Like, did you know 100% you were going to qualify, or were the doubts, like things like that? So I'll start with you, Ant, and then we'll go there.
So obviously we knew all of the events going before that weekend, maybe the machine one. And what we do each morning at this like each day, we jump on a call, and I might as well have just put myself on repeat, because we just said exactly the same things. It was like, you just concentrate on you, maximize what you can maximize in each workout, and you'll be fine. And that's pretty much how we debriefed every day. But yeah, that's from my end. But I think prep wise, we knew most of the workouts like a week before. So we tested most of them and then did like some intervals of some. So we were quite confident in everything going in. And like I said, it was just about him just focusing on what he can do, and he did that. So.
And you're happy with his performances?
Yeah, very happy.
Every event?
Yep, every event. Obviously the snatch, we were like, in his head, he put a lot of emphasis on the snatch, and we knew it was going to come out because Gretel was the first workout that got announced with clean and jerk. So we were like, right, well, it's probably going to be a max snatch. And because of the injury, he's not been going well. I think it's been going well, but it's not where it was like Storm before the injury. And I think he put a lot of emphasis on that. And it's like, you just do what you can do. Don't worry about what anyone else can lift, because there's some big boys in the field now. I think, what was the max? 140? Yeah.
There was a couple of 140s, weren't there?
Yeah, I think so. So it's just like, mate, you just go out and do what you can do, and he managed to hit 2 kilos below his max. So yeah, very impressed.
So yeah, I guess like obviously you can reiterate if you were happy with every performance, but yeah, like where was your head at going into the comp in terms of, were you worried about the outcome? Were you just focused on the process? Yeah, and then just how you think the comp went. Every time you just smile before he gets the mic.
Well, I get nervous.
He wants to drop a joke.
No, I don't. It's not a joke. No, I think it went well. Obviously, started off really good. I had basically maximized points on the first 3 events, and then we had the max double unders. I knew like that one you could just trip and it would mess up the whole event, so I was nervous for that one. But then like it's max reps, so you just kind of do what you can do. Like you can't look across. In practice, I don't think I got over 100 in one go, and I threw my toys out of the cot.
I told him to
But,
go for a
yeah,
walk.
Ed sent me on a walk around the track afterwards.
So interesting though, before you move on to that, okay, so you've had that experience in training. It's right, I think you'll catch. You've had that experience in training, you know that there's a lot on the line. Like as you're going out there and when you're about to start, like do you remember what you were thinking? Or as you were doing the event, do you remember like what you were thinking? Or did you just like lock in, focus, and you just can't remember?
Yeah, I pretty much just locked in. I was like, Anzi, just focus on your breathing or something. Like, just pick one thing to focus on. And I thought, sweet, I'm just going to do that. And like, it wasn't don't trip. It definitely wasn't don't trip. Yeah. I just blamed something else. I'm like, I got a different floor here. I'll be fine. And then once I got through that, I was like, sweet, I'm all good. I can do the muscle ups. I can do the squats. And then there were a couple other events so there was like the rope climb event with the bench press. Like I knew, if I go out too hot, I could blow up and this could be a disaster. So it was just play it safe in the first half, push it in the second half. And like I had enough points where I didn't need to risk anything. So it was pretty much just on that back half of the comp, just trying to, I don't want to say play it safe, like I definitely pushed it, but not taking unnecessary risks just to try and beat some people whose like wheelhouse workout it was. And then also with the snatch, obviously I was super nervous for that. Thankfully I had Jack there. He was just like, oh, just do this. Just do this.
I've never heard anyone saying thankfully Jack was there. So that's impressive.
He was on floor coach. He was literally look at me. He'd look at my snatch, no matter how bad the snatch looked. He was like, "Oh mate," he's like, "That one was amazing." And then he's like, "Dude, put this on the bar." And then afterwards, he's like, "Dude, your shoulders looked fucked." He was like, "That was horrendous." But the whole time, he's just like, "That was awesome, Ben." He's like, "You could hit so much more." He's like, "Put this on the bar. Put this on the bar." And like it made it enjoyable. Like I wasn't stressed about the snatch at the time because like Jack was just do this, do that, and it was fun. And then it was just enjoyable on the last day. Like I knew the workouts were good for me, so I just tried to enjoy them more so than like stress about the competition itself.
Were you pissed when Ryan got you in that handstand?
No, I didn't know it was a good gymnast. I was like, when we got off at the bike at the same time, I was like, oh man, I was like, I'm awesome at pirouettes. I was like, I got this. And then, he just ripped into them, and I was like, oh shit. So
it's hard to tell, but is there an event that you're most proud of that weekend that gives you confidence going forward? Is there like one standout or not really? Or is it just your performance?
Maybe like a standout moment was definitely the machines. And I said this to Ant the whole time leading up. I was like, oh, this whole altitude thing's a sham. I said, I don't feel any different. It's this and that. I said, it's nothing. I said, I don't notice anything. And then like second round on the machines, I was like, oh my gosh. Like it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, when you start to get like chills almost, you start to feel, I was like, oh my God, I'm in trouble here. And so just like mentally, that whole back half of the machines, like still trying to push it. And like, that was the only time I was like, man, I want to stop so bad. Like I was in agony on that second half. But like, yeah, I'd say just that one moment more so than like an event itself, I think.
Yeah, cool. So going forward, is the focus for the CrossFit Games the same as what it has been in terms of like pushing everything up? Do you have any specific changes to the focus? I mean, obviously you've mentioned squatting, you've mentioned like running, which we know comes up a lot of the games anyway, but do you now just take like a constantly varied approach, or are you still staying like very specific to like what you want Ben to work on?
In general with the programming.
Yeah.
So the first three weeks after Africa, I think we're doing like a bit specific stuff. I was actually gutted that Africa didn't have any running, just to showcase it. But now qualifying for the games, hopefully you'll see. Yeah. So the running focus is there for sure, strength, and then just towards like the back end of the week, just gets more constantly varied, like just CrossFit. I think as long as we like just stick to the basics, I think it'll be sweet. Like we're obviously throwing in some more like odd objects, strongman stuff, some swimming. Because what are you, like a brick?
No, I'm not.
No, good.
Not a
Fish.
big
He's a fish. Yeah. So just the basics really. From when I programmed for Jamie going into one games, you just get so overwhelmed with what can come up at the games because there's so many different variables, obviously. And then the second time I was just like, just stick to CrossFit. Yeah, just stick to the basics. And I think this time round is just like, that's exactly what we're going to do. So it's fun.
Is CrossFit going to be a staple weekly, or is that going to come up like, in that last 4 to 6 weeks?
Yeah.
So how does that look?
So the first 3 weeks is the beginning of the weeks, more like what we speak about, like developmental type stuff. It's like trying to break everything down, isolate running, isolate strength work, isolate some like gymnastic skills. Back end of the week, the more we get to Super Saturday, which is what he's joining in with as well, is just the CrossFit side. Then when we get closer and closer to the comp, just more and more CrossFit.
How does that sound, Ben?
Sounds like fun.
I guess the last question I've got here is, what are you both most excited about and what does the future hold? But I guess we first want to focus on the games. Like, what are you most excited about for your first individual trip to the CrossFit Games?
I haven't really thought about it much, to be honest, like the specifics. And I feel like we don't know much about the games at all. So I think for me, just the experience as a whole, maybe more experiencing a longer form event where it's over 4 days. We've got however many events. I don't know. I haven't thought of any like specific thing I can't wait to do. Like maybe like the outdoor events. I think the outdoor events are super fun. Like the offsite events. Like I look forward to doing things like that. But yeah, nothing in particular sticks out too much.
When you first got into CrossFit, like when you did your first ever CrossFit session, did you get into it through watching the games?
No, I got into it because my mum did it first, and she didn't stop talking about it. But I watched all like the games documentaries and stuff, and like I always thought like the coolest stuff was the stuff in the Coliseum. I think more so than anything else, like the lifting events, the speed ladders.
For a reference, that's how young Ben is. Oh yeah, when I first got into CrossFit, watching the Coliseum, like not the ranch or like Camp Pendleton or anything like that. I mean, Jesus.
2015 games documentary. 2015. Well, I started in 2017, but I watched I think it was the 2015 and 2016 documentaries on repeat because they were on Netflix at the time.
Well, like very early on of getting into CrossFit, you wanted to qualify for the games.
Yeah, that was kind of like so originally I was doing rugby. I've told the story hundreds of times, and then switched over to CrossFit. And the goal was to go to the CrossFit Games. As soon as I started, I was like, I really want to compete in this. It wasn't like it kind of grew on me as I was doing it. Like I knew I wanted to compete.
Yeah. And when you qualified for team, you wanted to push for individual.
Yeah, I was humming and hawing about doing the teams because I was like, oh no, I want to stay individual. But Definitely don't regret going team. Like, it was a cool experience to go with a team and like experience the CrossFit Games. And I think even more so after going as a team, I wanted to go as an individual even more. Like, it kind of just made that belief even more so within me.
Last question. Do you set like position goals where you'd like to come at the games or at Rebel or in competitions, or do you just more focus on, like, if I do the best I can do, the result will be what it'll be, and then going forward, like for the distant future, like, have you got any long-term goals like that you think you can achieve? Like, do you think do you think you're capable of podium at CrossFit Games?
I think in the past, definitely I put a lot of emphasis on positioning. Like, for me, that was the be all and end all. It didn't matter what happened on the weekend. If my name was higher up on the leaderboard, it was dependent on how good the weekend went. But I think definitely since moving here and like talking to you guys a lot more, like the emphasis is now more on like my performance and things like that. And like just, I guess, making myself happy every event and thinking more, what am I capable of doing? And if I execute on that, I can't be disappointed, right? By the end of the weekend, like, if people are just fitter than me, there's nothing I can do about it at the time. So, like, well, it still sucks if you don't finish where you want to. Like, for me, it's all about doing well on the events. And, I thought I, crushed this workout or whatever. And then it doesn't matter what the leaderboard says because I'm happy with how the workout went. Long-term goal, yeah, definitely I want to try and podium at the games at some point. Like, I know I don't want to put pressure on myself this year to have any positions. And I think that's the cool thing about being a rookie, is that you can just go and experience it. Like, not to say I'm not going to be trying my best to try and win everything, but at the same time, there's no pressure to do it. No one expects anything from the guy who qualified out of Africa. So it's like, I could kind of go there and just enjoy it and just do my best every workout and not have to care too much about what everyone thinks about placings. And, if I'm bombing on this or whatever, I can just maximize my potential and not have to worry about anything else.
Anything to add on the mic drop finish? It, like,
No, I think yeah, good to go there.
So, yeah, anything?
No.
So, thanks for your time, team. How long is it till the games?
7, 6, I think 4, 5. Yeah, I think 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you training the next few weeks, and hopefully, is Coach going with you?
Unsure yet.
Unsure. If he can get time away from the kids.
If Ben can get any sponsors, then he might be able to pay for Ant to come.
There you go.
Very unmarketable.
If anybody would like to support this guy, give him a follow. But no, again, awesome work on your work so far, Ben. We are most of the time proud to have you as part of the team, and we're looking forward to seeing you get the throwdown at the games, mate. So until the next one.